from WNYT Albany. News Channel 13 live at 11 begins right now.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Emily Burkhardt. While nursing home visitation is now allowed at nearly all times for all residents, some groups argue New York waited too long to make the move. Jonathan Hunter joins us live with tonight's top story. Jonathan.
Emily, advocates for months have been calling for visitors to be allowed inside the nursing homes. Well, they got their wish, but many say this took far too long. And they also have another request for Governor Cuomo. Marcella Goheen has a husband in a nursing home. Prior to the pandemic, she took care of him 5 to 7 hours a day. She wasn't able to do that this last year.
He has been without that care consistently for 1 year. He has lived through COVID. He is a COVID survivor. And in the past year, he's lived a horror.
She says her story is one of many.
We must never forget that this prolonged isolation was the second deathly virus in nursing homes, and that the restricted visitation was an unnecessary precaution that hurt way too many.
Now New York has new guidelines. Visitation is allowed at all times for all residents, with limited exceptions. It also states that visitors should be allowed to see their loved ones regardless of vaccination status. For Goheen, she says the policy that says nursing homes must facilitate in-person visitation is crucial.
They must facilitate in-person visitation consistent with CMS, and if they don't, they will be in violation of the 483.10 Residents' Rights Law, which assures that each resident receives their visitor and total quality care to the highest level of their functioning.
While visitors are allowed in nursing homes, Goheen says they're still waiting for Governor Cuomo to sign the personal caregiver bill. This would allow family members to help their loved ones with tasks such as bathing, dressing, and eating.
We still await Governor Cuomo to sign the personal caregiver bill. Sitting on his desk. If he doesn't sign it, it automatically goes to law. If he vetoes it, the state legislature, I do think we have over 2/3, will push it back into law.
And we're talking to Goheen. We asked her an honest question. Why do you think it took the state this long to allow visitors inside the nursing homes? She said, quite frankly, she believes the state was scared because of all of the loss of life. And she says that she doesn't believe the state was prepared. And she says, quote, she believes they didn't know how to execute a safe visitation plan. Emily?
Thank you, Jonathan. Also getting the green light for reopening adult day health care programs. They serve about 8,000 New Yorkers. For those who have been home, it's been difficult. Michelle D'Ambrosi tells us she's thrilled to return because she's struggled to maintain her health, but she still has some concerns.
The only concern I have is there's going to be nobody that we know. You know what I mean? The nurse left because she got a better job, and all the aides are completely gone. There's a new supervisor or director. That is a little, that's a little scary on its own because I don't take change good. I'm sorry, I don't.
But she says she's looking forward to getting a COVID vaccine and getting back to the routine of care she came to rely on. The state is launching a free digital platform allowing people to share their COVID vaccination status or show they've had a negative test result. It's called Excelsior Pass. It was developed in partnership with IBM. The goal is to fast-track access to venues like theaters, stadiums, and wedding reception halls. The Times Union Center will be using it as the program expands. New tonight, a second car crash at Dolce & Biscotti in Clifton Park. The bakery posted this picture on Facebook. A car slammed into a support pillar yesterday afternoon. This was just last month when a car went crashing through the front of the building, causing extensive damage. The bakery's owner says her staff helped the elderly driver involved in the latest crash until police arrived. She's urging people to slow down when entering the plaza. Also new tonight, we're looking at the damage caused by a tornado that touched down in central Vermont yesterday. At least 2 people were hurt, including a child. You can see this home in Middlebury was torn apart. Thousands were left without power. The storm system that also brought tornadoes to the south hit the capital region with some strong winds today. Let's send it over to meteorologist Reed Kisselback to find out what we can expect heading into the weekend. Hey, Reed.
Hey, Emily. Yeah, that system did bring some stronger winds into the region. We actually have 2 storm reports that did prompt some damage to pop up on here. So one of them was a large birch tree that was uprooted out in Del Mar. And the other one, as we clear this out here, I can show you the second that we have, was out a power pole that fell down on Riverside Riverside Drive out in Fultonville in Montgomery County. I know it's not the only thing that we did see. I know there was a couple reports of some trees falling down. Our wind advisory, for the most part, has expired, with the exception of what we have is Columbia and Berkshire County. Those wind gusts are going to continue to steadily die down. But here's a look at some of the wind gusts that we did see today. These were caught on our CDPHP first warning cam. Schenectady had a wind gust of 61 miles per hour. Amsterdam and Bennington not too far behind with 56 miles per hour. Saratoga Springs and Pittsfield just shy of 50 in there as well. You'll notice once we hit midnight, you can see those wind gusts are going to start to drop down to around 25 miles per hour. It'll still be a breezy day tomorrow, but it won't be quite as high as what we saw today. We'll have the details on what's in store for your weekend coming up just ahead. Emily.
Thank you, Reed. One of the 8 women accusing Governor Cuomo of sexual harassment wants legislative action supporting harassment survivors. Lindsay Boylan took part in a virtual rally today. She was joined by state lawmakers and other advocates pushing for a survivors' rights agenda that demands accountability for offenders.
It's time that lawmakers step up and pass legislation to deliver on better, more effective protections for workers and send a message that survivors matter. No one should be defined or destroyed by the harassment they face while just trying to do their job, live their dream.
Boylan was the first woman to come forward with allegations against the governor. He has denied her claims. A group of women in the state assembly are calling for reform at the state's 2 prisons for women. The lawmakers recently visited the facilities in Bedford Hills and Albion unannounced. They toured and spoke with inmates and staff there. The lawmakers brought up several issues during a press conference this week. Their main focus is on resuming family visits and getting female inmates better health care, including preventative doctor and dental visits.
No one is getting any kind of services. We spoke with a woman who, when she was at Bedford, had her cellmate die because she just getting care, if it's not urgent and looking like an emergency, just doesn't really happen.
The lawmakers are also lobbying for Governor Cuomo to sign a bill that would ban the use of solitary confinement for pregnant women and inmates under 21. It's already passed both houses of the legislature. A Columbia County woman who reported a rape to police is now charged with rape herself. The sheriff says 59-year-old Dawn Buttleman told authorities a man entered her home and raped her back in February. But investigators found she consented to a sexual act with a male under the age of 17. She's now charged with third-degree rape and falsely reporting an incident. Washington County wants the state to lift a law preventing the sale of alcohol from noon to 3 on Good Friday. The county is one of just 3 in New York where the law still applies. A few years ago, a store was forced to close after it unknowingly violated it. The county will be asking the state liquor authority to lift the restriction, and there will be a public hearing.
Being one of the last counties with this law, just to let us off of it, because we're a struggling county with very few businesses, and we need that money.
Steuben and Essex counties are the other counties that the state still has that same law. Coming up, tragedy at the southern border. A young girl has died while trying to cross the Rio Grande River. We'll tell you what the president is saying about the growing migrant crisis. Plus, new information from police in Boulder, Colorado, what they've learned about this week's deadly shooting at a supermarket, as Live at 11 continues.
Coverage you can trust. This is News Channel 13, live at 11. We Salute You is proudly brought to you by Upstate New York Plow and Truck Body.
We're back with tonight's military hero, technician Raymond Larrabee from Gloversville. He served in the Army during World War II. He went behind enemy lines on D-Day and served and earned medals, including the Bronze Star. We salute him and we're thankful for his service. President Biden plans to unveil a multi-trillion-dollar infrastructure bill next week, but the crisis at the southern border is the most pressing concern for the administration right now. Alice Barr reports.
While immigration dominated President Biden's first formal news conference, the president was most fired up about Republicans using false election fraud claims to restrict voting rights.
It's sick.
Today, calling it Jim Crow in the 21st century and an atrocity.
That it has nothing to do with fairness, nothing to do with decency.
The president says the Department of Justice is taking a look at Georgia's strict new regulations that disproportionately affect communities of color. A state representative arrested while knocking on the door as the governor was signing the bill. Newly elected Georgia Senator Raphael Warnock weighing in.
They don't like the outcome, and so rather than change their message, they're trying to change the rules.
Meanwhile, the Biden administration grappling with the surge in migrants at the southern border amid news that a 9-year-old girl died while trying to cross the Rio Grande River. House Democrats and Senate Republicans making separate trips to the border today and trading blame over the crowded conditions in border facilities.
There are 15,000 children in custody right now, and those numbers are rising, and they are rising because of the Biden administration's mistakes.
The previous administration had sought to dismantle the infrastructure for processing asylum seekers.
President Biden vowing conditions at the border will improve soon. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Still ahead, a logjam in the Suez Canal will tell you the economic impact a container ship is now having and how long it could take to free that ship.
Now, your first warning forecast with meteorologist Reed Kisselback.
Well, despite some cloud covers, some rain, and some windy conditions, we still managed to beat the record high set back in 1986. And we are at 75 was today's high. It's 26 degrees above our normal high of 49. So we'll take that, but it's already starting to feel significantly colder. This is a look at the temperature change within the last 24 hours as that cold air really starts to surge in. Right now in the capital region, we're averaging between 5 to 20 degrees colder, and you can take a look even out west as we get closer towards areas like Syracuse and Utica. We're looking at 25 degrees colder than this time 24 hours ago. Temperatures across the northeast, you can kind of see where this front is starting to push through. You'll notice Albany's at 45, we're at 55 in Poughkeepsie, and heading towards Hartford and Boston, we're still in the 50s. So where we're in the 40s, that's where the colder air is starting to push out into the region. That's thanks to a large part because of the winds that push through the region. Outside right now, our CDPHP for this morning cam in Albany, we're in the 40s. Wind chill right now has a feeling like we're in the low 40s, but we do have partly cloudy skies. There's still a few isolated showers up north earlier. That seems to have broken apart. We'll still see a chance for an isolated shower or two at the moment, but then we are going to dry out. Here's a look at the zoomed out view here on the satellite and radar. You can see the Ohio Valley is clear and dry. All of that is going to push towards our region tomorrow, giving us another sunny day. It's going to be the pick day of the weekend. Just keep in mind, though, you might not want to put away the heavier jacket just yet. First thing in the morning, temperatures in the upper 30s. Plenty of sunshine staying with us throughout the course of the afternoon. Looks to push our highs near the mid and a couple spots into the upper 50s. A great day to get outside, get what yard work you need to get done, anything you have to do outside, or you can go out and maybe enjoy some Albany football. At game time tomorrow at 1 o'clock kickoff, we're looking at 50 degrees. By the fourth quarter, we're up to 56. It's still going to be a little bit breezy at points. Wind gusts tomorrow could reach as high as 25 miles per hour. So the hour-by-hour forecast for tomorrow: we are dry with a mix of sun and clouds as we work our way overnight and into the start of Sunday. Sunday morning, early on the day, if you need to get outside and do something, that's when you'll want to do it. You'll notice by 10:30, rain showers start to push into the region, and they will fall steady and heavy at points. You'll see this is by 5 o'clock. Still seeing some pockets of heavy rain falling. A couple spots may be dry, but take a look out into Herkimer County, extending towards Oneida County, right by Utica. That's another line of showers. That's going to push through the region and bring some colder air to follow behind that as well. So we are not quite out of the woods just yet when it comes to these colder temperatures that we usually see in March. We'll have the details on when you'll see that in about 30 seconds. So that chance for a shower is basically gone at this point, but still very windy, at least until the wind advisory expires. The wind gusts will gradually start to die down. We are partly cloudy. Because of that, the temperatures look to drop down into the upper 30s. For the day tomorrow, expect a mix of sun and clouds. Still a bit breezy at points, but definitely cooler with a high of only 57 degrees. We'll take a look at your 7-day planner. You'll notice, like we said, Sunday, those rain showers come in, stay with us, and fall heavy at points throughout the course of the day. Highs in the low 50s, but we cool down into the 40s by Monday. Monday, it'll be another windy day. It'll be sunny with highs near the mid-40s. Tuesday, we warm back up towards the mid to upper 50s with plenty of sunshine. Wednesday is dry for the majority of the day. We'll see our next weather maker arrive Wednesday night and linger into Thursday morning. That'll cool us back down once again into low 40s and upper 30s. Emily.
Thanks, Reed. And now here's Jimmy Fallon with a preview of what's coming up next on The Tonight Show. Hey, Jimmy.
Hey, everyone. Addison Rae is here tonight in studio. She's teaching me TikTok dances, and she's performing. Plus, we have Viola Davis and thank you notes. It's a great show tonight.
Weather at your fingertips? What do you see? There's no better time to envision the News Channel 13 First Warning Weather app. News Channel 13's First Warning Weather. Severe weather coverage you can trust. When news breaks,
the state has just released new guidance on nursing home visitations.
We don't just cover the story.
We're learning more tonight about the suspect in the deadly shooting rampage in a Boulder, Colorado supermarket.
We uncover the issues.
Shootings, a previously planned Senate hearing on gun violence took a new urgency today.
Bringing you the most trusted coverage.
Officials say the state is seeing the lowest number of daily virus-related deaths since November.
News Channel 13. Coverage you can trust. Closed captioning provided by Albany Med. We are safe for you. Don't delay your care.
Authorities in Boulder, Colorado are promising transparency and a thorough investigation into the grocery store shooting that left 10 people dead this week. Police held a news conference this morning and they're still trying to figure out what motivated the suspect, 21-year-old Ahmad Alisa. An officer who exchanged gunfire with him has been put on administrative leave.
The firearm used by the suspect in King Soopers on March 22nd is a semi-automatic Ruger AR 5.56 pistol. It was legally purchased in a gun store in Arvada, Colorado. The defendant was also in possession of a 9mm handgun, but at this time we do not believe that gun was used in this incident.
The district attorney says he wants to make sure the trial is held in Boulder County. Dominion Voting Systems is suing Fox News for $1.6 billion. The company says the cable news network made false claims that Dominion rigged the presidential election. Those claims helped spur on rioters who stormed the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. Fox News issued a statement saying it's proud of its election coverage. Dominion has also filed defamation suits against Trump allies, including Rudy Giuliani, who helped spread the former president's lies that he actually won in November. Efforts to free a ship blocking the Suez Canal continue tonight. The Ever Given is one of the largest container ships in the world and more than 430 yards long. It's been stuck in the canal since Tuesday and is blocking 200 other ships from getting through. 30 of them are oil tankers. The logjam caused crude oil prices to jump $2 a barrel. Experts from a Dutch salvage team are leading the job to free the ship, but they say it could take days or even weeks. Big Board Sports is next on News Channel 13. Roger's here now with week 2 of the high school football season. Hey,
yeah,
Rog.
Emily, here we go again, and we're who won the marquee matchup in Class AA between Shaker and Guilderland, plus CBA ready to roll against Schenectady. The brothers are good this season, no doubt. And we'll check in with you, Albany head coach Greg Gattuso, ahead of Saturday's CAA matchup with Stony Brook. That's coming up next on Big Board Sports.
I've been given this opportunity and this gift to be able to do the job that I do, and you want to make sure that you're giving the people on the ground the voices. Every person I speak to, they get the best side of me. They get the person that is inquisitive, the person that even if I don't understand something, I'm going to keep asking questions until I understand and I educate myself, and that's always been my approach going into every story.
Paulina Butska, News Channel 13 Today. Coverage you can trust. Now, Big Board Sports with Roger Weiland.
Well, good evening, everybody. It is on to week 2 now of the abbreviated high school football season, and a marquee matchup tonight in Class AA, and that's where we start. Shaker hosting Guilderland. The Blue Bison and Dutchman both won their openers last week. The win was whipping at games all over the Capital Region tonight. Check that out, Radar. The scores picks up after the first quarter. Guilderland up 3-0, but Dean Hartle busts through the end zone at 7-3. Shaker doesn't take the Dutchman long to answer. They love to sling it around with Logan Broomhall. Quick hitter there there to Caleb Jacobson on the slant. Shaker would take a 2-possession lead into the locker room, though. This is what makes him so dangerous. Joey Mirabile improvises, and then on the run hits Connor Strand. Nicely done. This gets tight in the fourth, but Shaker hangs on to win 35-25. Elsewhere, CBA hosting Schenectady on the turf at Shenendehowa. Windy night in Clifton Park, and neither team throws it a ton in the first half. Because of that, the Patriots try to go to the air late in the second, but Jack Goebel picks it off, and the brothers are in business. Less than a minute to play in the half. Jack Gregory throws it up. It gets caught in the wind, bounces off Dylan Jones, but he sticks with it, hauls it in, and he's in for the touchdown. It's 7-0 CBA at the half. The brothers hold Schenectady to just 88 yards in total offense. They roll 28-0 final. Troy coming off a lopsided win over LaSalle last week, and tonight the Flying Horses hosting rival Amsterdam. Former Troy and Iowa running back there, Jordan Canzeri, is in the house, and this is the Xavier Lee Show. First quarter, 6-0 Flying Horses. Alex Wolf lofts it to Lee, who has plenty of room to run. He cuts back and gone. 82 yards for the touchdown. 2-point conversion makes it 14-0. Next possession for Troy. Lee takes the handoff. He's so tough to tackle, fast and shifty. Another huge gain for the Flying Horses. And then Lee caps off the drive with 30 seconds left in the quarter. The O-line gives him a giant hole to run through, and he's into the end zone once again. Troy runs away with a 55-6 win over Amsterdam. Final stop, Albany hosting Averill Park. Another Class A matchup, and Albany's defense holds up early against the Warriors' vaunted run game, but this is really opens things up here. 4th and 4, Dan McShay goes 40 yards. That touchdown puts AP up 14-0. Later in the second, Averill Park knocking on the door again, and Gavin Giordano keeps it and goes in from 2 yards out. 2 touchdowns for Giordano, 3 for McShane, and Averill Park wins 42-0 over Albany. On the Callahan Industry scoreboard tonight, one more game to report. In Class A, Burnt Hills beats Niskey 42-6. Also in Class B, Broad Alban Perth jumps out to a 37-0 lead. They beat Gloversville 50-16. Chalmont shuts out Hudson, and Ravenna improves to 2-0 with a win over Cobleskill. For the rest of the reported scores, log on to our WNYT website, click on sports, look for the Callahan Industries scoreboard. Well, if the Syracuse men's basketball team is going to upset Houston on Saturday night in the Sweet 16, it will hinge on the play of their guards, right? Without much of an inside game, Buddy Boeheim and Joseph Girard III will need to make shots. Buddy Buckets has been on an amazing roll. Jim Boeheim will tell you JG III is playing a whole lot better.
When he's making shots, he helps our team. It's a big boost when he makes perimeter shots. But he's got 5 or 6 rebounds in both games in this tournament. He's got some steals. He's got 6 to 7 assists. I mean, he's playing great. He's playing great basketball. Really is. I think probably a little underrated in these 2 games.
9:15 tip tomorrow night. Albany football team needs to bounce back tomorrow when they're home at Casey Stadium. The Great Danes lost to Rhode Island last week 17-10 in overtime, and their attention then quickly turned to the matchup tomorrow with 0-3 Stony Brook in an effort to even their record at 2-2 in this abbreviated 6-game season.
I love this football team. I love these kids. They really are dedicated and committed to trying to do things the right way, and we just haven't played in sync. So I love the kids, I love the team, I love our culture, and we just got to get through this rough patch and really play a rivalry game and try to get a win Saturday.
How about some college baseball in Loudonville today? Siena hosting Niagara. It's head coach Tony Rossi's 52nd season with the Saints. That's amazing. They dropped the first game of the doubleheader, top of the 5th, and Michael Gabriel hits a cue shot to first. And even though Tim Carroll misplays it at first, the LaSalle grad recovers and nearly does a split to get the out. Bottom half of the inning, Siena builds on a 2-0 lead. Bases loaded, but 2 outs for Pat O'Hare. The wind causes all kinds of issues with the pop-ups today. That one drops in behind first, and with everyone running on contact, all three come around to score, and Siena gets the double dip split, 11-4 in game number 2. Wild day in the NFL. The Miami Dolphins trade their number 3 pick in the first round of the 49ers in exchange for the 12 pick this year, and a short time later, Miami sent that 12 pick to Philadelphia in exchange for the number 6 pick and multiple other picks in the draft. The move certainly puts the 49ers in the mix to draft a quarterback, and the Jets, speaking of quarterbacks, have the number 2 pick on April the 29th. Today, the head coach, Robert Saleh, the GM, Joe Douglas, attended BYU quarterback Zach Wilson's pro day in Provo, Utah, and you can see the throws here. Wilson was impressive, and many think the Jets are locked in to Wilson at number 2, and I'm starting to believe them. Brooklyn pulls away with a win at Detroit behind 44 from James Harden in the NBA. Boston gets a huge win on the road at Milwaukee. Jason Tatum with 34 points for the Celtics. And don't forget to join us Monday morning. It's Big Board Sports 10 to 1 on 104.5 The Team, ESPN Radio. Now back to Radar Reed for a last check of that weekend forecast.
Thanks, Raj. The pick day of the weekend looking to be tomorrow. We'll notice some decreasing clouds early on in the day. It'll be windy. Temperatures starting out in the upper 30s, but plenty of sunshine is going to arrive in the afternoon. That's going to allow our highs to reach near the mid to upper 50s. And a look here at your 7-day planner showing rain showers arrive right around mid-morning on Sunday, falling heavy at times, staying with us throughout the course of the day. Highs stay in the low 50s, but it's going to bring some sunny, windy, and colder conditions for Monday. We're down to 45 for a high. Tuesday back up into the 50s. Wednesday's dry for a large part of the day before we see another round of showers arriving Wednesday night and lingering to early Thursday morning. That cools us back down to low 40s and upper 30s by the time it gets to the end of next week. Emily.
All right. Thanks, Reed. And thank you for joining us. Stay tuned now for The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon. Next newscast starts at 5 a.m.
And we're always online, WNYT.com.
Have a great weekend.